Hello, everyone, and welcome to our brand new podcast called The Display Line. I am one of your hosts. I'm Ollie, and the other host is Joey.
Hello, I'm Joey. Yep, I'm the other host.
So, we have been inspired by the podcast recently to start our own podcast, and this is obviously our first one. Well, the general plan for our podcast here, obviously, is to speak about aviation news and air shows. And we've both been to many air shows, and today's theme is the Royal International Air Tattoo. Joey.
Yeah, so uh, obviously we've both been to Reacts before. He's coming up on another one. We're both going. We'll go getting seats next to each other as well. So I hear you're going to be vlogging the event.
Yes, I am going to be vlogging the event actually. So I'll be going on the Saturday and the Sunday, and I should get there on the Friday, but I'll get there on the Saturday and the Sunday for the actual show itself. And I'll be recording, probably post it on the YouTube channel that will be in the making, and it'll be up by the time of this video. As you'll probably be seeing this video on YouTube, if anything, but we are also on Spotify, so that should also be working by the time you're listening to this podcast, or even watching it for that matter. Takeoff Thursday's coming up, Joey. So talk us through
Yep.
how that works.
So every Thursday, starting on the first Thursday of February, React will announce new aircraft attending or repeating aircraft attending React this year. That's starting next Thursday.
I believe it is next Thursday, yes.
Yeah. So obviously next episode we'll have some aircraft to talk about. We'll be doing predictions for the next takeoff Thursday, what we think's going to be attending, what we hope's going to be attending, and we'll be discussing everything about the aircraft, what we're hoping to see them do, anything else.
So, Joey, do you have any predictions for what you think are going to be on the first week of the announcements?
I mean, I'm hoping for overall solo Turk. That'll be a good one. They couldn't attend last year. Got in trouble. Um, Obviously we're going to see the Reds. They're a given. RAF Typhoon. We're going to see them. The default ones I feel like we'll get pretty early on, and
Yeah,
then we'll start seeing some of the more unique aircraft later on.
and obviously the theme this year is fighter meet, so hopefully we'll see a variety of fighter aircraft. I mean the main hope for me is the F-35 roll demo, hopefully from 617 Squadron based at RAF Marham. Now personally, I haven't actually been to RAF Marham yet, but I have been to airbases close like Lakenheath and Mildenhall. But the F-35 are obviously always a classic aircraft, and they have done slight displays before, like with the Spanish Harrier. I believe they did a few years ago. They did a hovering demo of them, and I believe it was 2023 when they actually did a roll demo at the Royal International Air Tattoo, which I believe was the only one that they've ever done. I could be wrong on that though.
Mm. Yeah, I think the F-35 will be good to see, hopefully, because I saw one on the ground last year, but I didn't see it fly. So we can hope. We can hope.
Yeah, and obviously there's usually F-16s. They're always an amazing display. Unfortunately, though, so many have been retired recently, like the Danish one that got retired
Yeah.
at the end of last year, so that won't be attending this year. But there's still so many that are flying around. My biggest hope, actually, for the Air Tattoo is to get the pair of Hellenic F4 Phantoms back, because I know they've been attending as statics recently in the past few years. However, they haven't actually flown at the International Air Tattoo um, as a display.
Yeah, that would be nice to see. You don't really see many of them flying around nowadays. Um, I think my biggest hope for React is probably, oh, I don't know. I mean, the F-35 roll demo would be pretty cool to see when it hovers. You know, that VTOL capabilities. That would be very cool to see.
Obviously, everyone, I think, we want the F-22 Raptor demo, but I highly doubt that is probably ever going to come over again. I believe it displayed back in 2022 or 2018 or some previous air show, but I don't believe that's coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, I believe that was 2016, and
Something like
people are
that,
saying
yeah.
2026 is the new 2016. Not in this case, unfortunately. I
Yeah, I
actually
believe they
think
have an air show, don't
they
they?
released, yeah, they released display schedule, and they have an air show on the date of React that is not React. So that's a miss this year, unfortunately.
Yeah, slightly unfortunate. There's so many other displays to look forward to. Ria is always packed full of displays that everyone can enjoy. I mean, even from like the BBMF, obviously based at RF Coningsby, to things like the F-16, F-18s, Typhoons, fast jets. So Riyadh's always there for a variety of people, and I first won in 2019. That was a good year actually. There was a lot of F-16s. I think this theme was air and space, so there was quite a lot of um, aircraft based on that.
Yeah, I first went last year, and the theme was surveillance, something along those
Yeah,
lines. Eyes
it
in the
was. Yeah,
skies.
eyes in the skies.
Um,
Yeah.
so we had the U2 flying. That was something special. They had the wedge tail, but that was the day before I went, so I unfortunately
Yeah,
did
that was
not
a
see that.
flyby with the red arrows, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did not see that unfortunately, but I saw the U2 flying with all its equipment on. That was special.
Yeah, actually, I'm hoping to see the B1 Lancer actually, because obviously last year that broke on upon landing. Actually, the pilot broke the landing gear allegedly, or something structurally. So unfortunately, that didn't get to fly last year. But hopefully that'll be back again this year, sort of like a compromise for last year's
Yeah,
events.
they've been doing practicing, haven't they? Over
Yeah, I
where they
believe
are
so.
based, they've been doing some practicing, display flying, so that's a good sign. Good sign.
Yeah, so hopefully this year will be an amazing Air Tattoo. Unfortunately, the weather the last few years though has been awful. It's been wet, rainy. I mean, last year it was just more grey than it was rainy, but the last few years have not been very pleasant. The year I went in 2019, that was beautiful weather, sun all day, beautiful clear skies. I wish I still had the photos for them, but honestly, the Royal International Air Tattoo is just an amazing event.
Yeah, I mean, last year, the first time I went, on the Sunday, it was pretty bad weather for a brief period. I was hiding in the BAE building. It was pretty packed in there,
Yeah.
so it gets rainy sometimes.
But anyway, the theme of this podcast, as you can probably see by the title, obviously is Takeoff Thursday. So I think it's time that we start talking more about the podcast as well. So
Yeah,
obviously, this first podcast is going to be released on a Thursday, hence the name. However, the podcast after that will be released every week on a Friday. Obviously, that just gives us a few hours, obviously, to add in any um, last minute announcements or take off Thursday stuff at the end, so we can fit that into the podcast.
yeah,
So then obviously we can see what's there, talk about all the aircraft that are coming, and then our predictions for the next week.
yeah. I mean, it'll be pretty hard for us to predict what to be on each week because it's three, I think, of just any of the
Something
aircraft
like
attending.
that. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a particular order that they go for, but we might get at least one right. That would be cool.
Yeah. I mean, if you just say F-16s every week, I'm sure you get it right. Yeah. There'll probably be an
Yeah, I might
F-16 at
do that
some point.
actually. Yeah,
So obviously, um, we have our schedule now for the podcast, and hopefully people will tune in. But what are your predictions and like hopes? How far do you think we could get this podcast out, and do you think that we could reach a larger fan base?
hoping that we get at least one person watching. That would be quite nice. Other than Revenge editing the video,
Yeah,
but um, hopefully we can get a few like a good chunk of people watching. Hopefully we can maybe even do some interviews. I don't know if that's a thing we're going to plan on doing, but
yes, it is
hopefully
something
we
we're
can do
planning
some
on doing.
interviews.
Obviously, any pilots, any engineers, any show organizers, literally anyone in the aviation community, hit us a DM on Instagram, and hopefully we can get you on the podcast. Obviously, just make sure you have Zoom or Microsoft Teams or some sort of calling app, or even Discord if that works. For
Yeah,
some of you younger blokes or ladies. But obviously, yeah, interviews are something that we are hopefully going to get within sort of the first 10 episodes, even if it's just one pilot, engineer, anyone, that'd be great. Um, But our aim really is just to heighten the understanding of air shows, of aircraft, and hopefully get more people into the aviation industry as a complete total. Because that is just the aviation community is not very big, obviously, especially the engineering side, which I'm currently studying at the
Yeah,
moment.
me
We do
too.
need more engineers. We need more ground crew. We just need more people in the aviation industry, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not a niche community, but it's not as big as a lot of other communities, and I think it should be. Planes are very cool.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, want to just sort of take a deep dive into some of the aircrafts. Obviously, that's just sort of a sneak peek of what's to come in the next few podcasts. Obviously, for when Takeoff Thursday comes, we'll be getting sort of facts, interesting facts, and fun questions and stuff that hopefully you as the viewer can engage with and listen to, and hopefully get a better understanding of how planes work or different types of planes, so props, jets, bombers, fighters, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so hopefully this goes well. I'm hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Obviously, I know we've already got a few people who are going to watch. Obviously, probably our parents or siblings, and some of our friends as well are going to watch. And obviously,
Yeah,
personally, us on socials, we're trying to reach out to obviously some pilots as well to hopefully get their side of the airshow circuit and how they fly planes, obviously, and people, like Rich Goodwin in his jet pits, that is an absolutely magnificent aircraft, and hopefully we can get him or even some people from his team on the show at some point. I've got quite a few contacts within the aviation community, people like Bruce Booglas, who's now part of Team Raven. I speak to him quite a bit when he does air shows, and I caught up with him and the team last year at Midlands. So hopefully that will be, sort of some of the people we can get on. But we're hoping to have a variety of, air show hosts, organisers, commentators, pilots, engineers on, if that's possible.
yeah, that would be good, especially the engineering side because we need more engineers in the world, especially in the aviation industry.
Yeah. So our podcast will probably be about what 30, 45 minutes long, would you say?
Yeah, somewhere
If we
around
can,
30 to 45, depending on the episode.
yeah, obviously, and we've already got the first 5 episode names done, so obviously we'll be working on those over the next few weeks to release, obviously every Friday. Um, so our main focus is air shows, especially ones that we are specifically attending. Um, but obviously there will be air shows that we recommend, even if we're not going to them this year, or air shows that we've been to previously that we also recommend.
Yeah, there's also the spotting side of things. We both frequently go plane spotting at various air bases, so we're pretty familiar with spotting at military bases. Uh, so hopefully we can recommend some good ones, when to go, what to bring, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because obviously there's loads of bases around the UK, isn't there? There is like
Yeah,
you've got Coningsby, you've got Marham, you've got obviously the US bases like Lakenheath and Mildenhall. Um,
yeah,
the only unfortunate bit is most of them are sort of in one half of the country. They're sort of all in the northeast or east side of the country, which sometimes can be hard to get to. Obviously, I know you live in the northwestern part of the country, and I live in the south part of the country. So
yeah. It's quite a drive to get to Coningsby and especially Lakenheath. That's even further away.
yeah, but yeah, so we'll be sort of talking in depth about the bases, the military operations, the history behind them, and previous events there because I remember places like Mildenhall had fates back in the day, family days and stuff like that, which was always fun
Yeah, and
to have a look at.
we know a few people who are in the cadets and in the RAF who go to these family day events. We can probably ask them some questions and bring you the answers.
And obviously, if you have any questions, like I said, hit us up on Instagram, Discord. We'll always respond in as much detail as we can, or just quick catch up saying hello, can I be on the podcast? I do this and that. We go, obviously, of course, let's arrange a time of some sort to do an interview, or even if you're just someone looking for a question, you just go, hey. how does this work, or what aircraft do you recommend I should start getting into, or something like that, we can always answer on this podcast. But the aim of this podcast today will be completely different themed to all the other podcasts. It's sort of all over the place. This is our first ever one, so obviously we're sort of skipping topics here and there.
Yep.
But obviously by next week we'll have it all organised. Uh, and we're having a structure, so we'll sort of have like an introduction of the topic we'll be speaking about that day, and then obviously um, Takeoff Thursdays will be part two, and then the third bit will just sort of be wrapping it up. Is what we've sort of
Yep.
decided. But today's main aim of today's podcast specifically is just to introduce ourselves, introduce the podcast, and what we'll be doing, and how we aim to better the aviation community.
Yeah. Hopefully grow it quite well. Hopefully quite a lot, but just even a few people, that will go a long way.
Yeah, of course, because even one or two engineers in the aviation community, that's even massive compared to the lack of engineers that we have at the moment, you know. Because obviously I study engineering, like I say, I'm hoping to go into that community. So if anyone has any questions engineering sided, obviously I can try and answer those. And Joey, obviously, he's slightly older than me. He's got more experience and in a few more things than I do.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get an apprenticeship soon at BAE.
Yeah, obviously
Oh,
be a great British company, isn't it? You know, that's
yeah,
created so many
making
things like the Hawk,
aircraft,
Typhoon.
submarines.
Yeah, they're an
I'm hoping to
all-round.
get into the aeronautical engineering side of things,
Yes.
making Typhoons, Hawks, Tempest even.
Well,
Something
we can
pretty
hope.
cool.
Obviously, the Tempest is sort of temperamental at the moment. It's not something
Yeah.
that's currently close to being in service, but hopefully
Yeah.
by the time that we're older, it will be a lot closer to coming into service. Obviously, it's our new 6th gen stealth fighter.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So yeah, so this podcast is obviously um, very new and temperamental. Obviously, we'll be changing stuff. If you have any ideas, let us know. Obviously, we're already sort of DMing people on Instagram and trying to hope that they can come on the podcast. Um, so yeah, if you have any other questions for us, please let us know. But other than that, this podcast for today, I think we've hit all our aims, and I think we can probably end it here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Take care, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you next week on the next podcast.